Hey guys, and welcome to day 2 of building our harvest corn wreaths. So we're going to be attempting to create about 12 of these today. Now if you get a few less, that's totally okay. 12 is going to give us extra so that if we have any mistakes, it's not a big deal. Really, we'll be able to make this wreath with even as little as like 6 of these. And then we'd have some extra as well to hang up around the house or whatever you want to do with them. So here's how we're going to create our corn cobs as well as our corn husks to make our wreath. So our first step is that we are going to take both of our yellow pieces of paper and we're going to fold them in half hamburger style, hamburger. So not folding it the skinny way like this. We're going to fold it the wide way like that, hamburger style. And as you can see, we're going to be drawing 3 cob shapes onto it. Now it looks like I drew it right onto the good side, right on the painted side, but because I had so many classes yesterday, I actually printed on both sides of mine. So this is on yours, it's going to be just plain yellow, but on mine it's printed on because both of my pieces of paper got printed on both sides. All right, so let's rewind a little bit. I'll take it back to the beginning here. So this is the good side of my yellow paper. This is the side that I want to see when we're done making my wreath. So I'm going to fold my paper so that that's on the inside. Once again, your paper is going to just be plain yellow on this side, unless you print it on both sides too. Then whichever side that isn't as special to you, that's going to be on the outside, because that's going to be the side we draw on, and that's going to be the side that we don't want to see when the wreath is done. So now that it's folded in half, I'm going to just draw on 3 corn cob shapes. You guys can just go ahead and use pencil for yours. I'm using marker so that it's easier to see. So something like that, and we would just draw 3 right across like that. And remember, this is the back side, so if it doesn't turn out perfectly, that's okay, because we're not going to see it. And I'm drawing this upside down, so it's a little tricky to draw. So something kind of like that. Once you've got the 3 of them drawn across, you are then going to, like I've done here, you're going to cut it out. And the cool thing is, because it was folded in half, you're not only cutting out 1, but actually you end up cutting out 2 corns of cob every time you cut it out. So that went kind of like that. And then here was my other one. And there we go. So I've got my pieces of corn cob, and now you're going to cut out all of them. Okay, so you're going to make a total of 6 cuts, but it's actually, because it's folded in half, it's going to end up giving you 12 cobs of corn. How's that, right? So we've got those ready to go, or at least we're going to pretend that we do. For the demo, I'm not going to show all of them, but we'd have our 12 cobs of corn ready to go. Our next step is then we're going to want to make these sort of U shapes like that for the corn husks. Now this gets a little bit trickier. These are a little bit harder to fit onto our piece of paper. So we have to be really careful with this when we're drawing those on. So once again, just like before, I'm taking my green paper. You're going to do this with both of your colors of green paper. So both the lighter color and the darker green that we have in our kits. And I'm going to fold it in half, hamburger style, once again. All right. And I'm going to just sort of divide. Remember, you guys can be doing this with pencil. I'm going to draw it with marker just so it's easier to see. But I'm very lightly going to divide my paper into thirds, just so I'm not getting any of these too big. So now from here, I'm going to draw kind of like a U shape. And if you want to put a little bit of a fancy twisty flourish at the end, you can do that too. And make sure to go all the way to those edges like that. Leave some room in the center for where the corn is going to stick out, just like this. So kind of a U shape once again, using that whole space in each of those thirds and making those. And then we're going to cut these out next. And those are going to be the husks for our corn. So I would take, and I'm going to cut each of those out. So it's going to end up looking something like this, right? So our next step then, once we've got all 12 of our corn cobs and all 12 of our husks, remember if some of them didn't turn out, it's not a big deal because we actually don't need all 12. We can get by with probably as little as 6. But I'm going to go ahead and just put a little glue around the edge, put my husk over the top, just like that. And we're going to do that to all of our corn cobs with our husks, just like that. So you can see then the next step is going to be, we're going to take these and start gluing them to each other. And you can do light, dark, light, dark. If you want to do alternating patterns, you could do that. Totally up to you and how you want it to look. But we're just going to start to make, kind of get down here, a bit of a circle until we get all the way back around and glue that last one here to make an entire wreath. Now, if you want to, an optional step, as you guys can see in the slide, is you could kind of make a base to your wreath by using either cardboard or what I did. I had this paper plate at home. It goes that way. You can kind of see that was a paper plate until I cut it apart and I cut a hole in the middle. So now I've got a circular O shape. So if you want your wreath to have, make it a little easier to tell like how the circle should go around, you could also glue these onto something like this. And it could just be cardboard. I cut up a paper plate, totally up to you. But you're just going to take and, whoopsies, that one didn't stick all the way, and glue them all the way around until you've got a harvest wreath. Then you can go ahead and put that up on your refrigerator, maybe put a little string from it and hang it up somewhere. But enjoy what you created. I cannot wait to see these. I think they're going to be amazing. Thanks, guys. Have fun.